With that being said, let's move on now and let's talk about the service industry. Let's talk about these bars in Las Vegas and in the state of Nevada. As you know, John, there's a lot of bars that are still struggling out there at 50% capacity. There's a lot of people out there that have lost their businesses. I would imagine you've probably spoken to many of these business owners that are still struggling because of COVID. Can you share us some of your stories? I mean, I would imagine these are some bar owners that have done things the right way, that are good people, right, John? And now they're out of work, they're struggling, they're unemployed, they lost their business. What do you tell them, Jon Taffer? Like, what advice do you give people like that?
You know, it's devastating. I have a friend who put his life savings into opening a bar and restaurant. And son of a gun, the week he opened, COVID hit. So he never even got to open, but he lost over $1 million.
Wow.
The stories are devastating. The worst stories of all are the employee stories. You know, just I think of all the bartenders in our city and the waitresses in our city and how we were doing a year ago, and whammo, the impact. And you know, I would be less than honest if I didn't tell you it brings tears to my eyes. But I want to share a different view, if I can, a positive view.
Sure.
All science indicates that we will have vaccines in distribution in 90 days or so. Mm-hmm. Now, capacity has gone down in the restaurant business for sure, particularly in markets other than Las Vegas. You know, when people get the vaccine, here's my feeling. I believe when you get the vaccine, the next thing you're going to do is go out to dinner. I believe that. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's what's going to happen around the country. And when we do market research and pent-up demand. So let's think about this for a moment. Vaccine hits hard in January, February, March. Even Fauci said we'd have 700 million vaccines by April 1. So let's assume by April 1 everybody is vaccinated who wants to be. Right. It's now those who want to be safe are safe. Everybody's going to go out again. And capacity is down in most markets and restaurants hugely. So I would suggest that this spring has an opportunity to be boomtown.
Wow.
And I would suggest that operators really understand the power of this. Now, I have my Taffer's Tavern franchise.
Yep.
And we just opened in Atlanta. We're doing very, very well. We sold franchises like crazy because operators are saying there's great locations becoming available all across America. We want to get them.
Right.
So there's a view that from this comes excitement.
Right.
So I believe, and I say this to Las Vegas, come this spring, I believe that we're going to have an exciting opportunity. I believe international travel is going to be far less, which means domestic travel is going to be far more exciting. Mm-hmm. If the president implements the domestic travel incentives that we talked about in my interview, that's big for us here in Las Vegas.
Right.
So I suggest that we hold our money, hold our resources, and get ready. Because I think this spring is going to be a fantastic opportunity for us all.
I think that's great advice, John, and I tend to agree with you. I'm one of those people. I get a vaccine, then I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to go out there, and I'm still trying to do whatever I can to help businesses out there and support business. But it's very interesting what you're saying. You're saying, and I tend to agree with you, that when people, and I hope these people do take these vaccines, that kind of like scared attitude and not going out is going to change, and it's going to be a big economic boom. I agree with them. I totally agree.
And Brian, Anthony Fauci is the one yesterday that said that the most vulnerable people in the United States will have a vaccine by the end of December.
I hope so.
We're talking 2 months away, so
I hope so.
It's around the corner.